Hey, my dude. Welcome back to While I Drive. Most people think they're simply commuting. They're not. They're practicing. So, wherever you're headed today, let's get a little practice in. There's something worth noticing, something that seems to appear over and over and over again. Life has a funny way of reminding us that we're not carrying the whole thing by ourselves. Now, before anybody gets nervous, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to convince you of a religion. I'm not here to hand out cosmic membership cards. Call it whatever you want. God, Source, the universe, the higher self, the soul, love, the mystery, or don't call it anything at all. I don't think the label matters nearly as much as the experience. And my dude, I think most of us have had the experience. Maybe not every day, maybe not even every year, but at least once. A moment where something bigger seemed to peek through the cracks. A moment where life felt deeper than usual. A moment where somehow, against all odds, you found exactly what you needed, or exactly what needed to find you. Maybe it was a person. Maybe it was a conversation. Maybe it was a book. Maybe it was a song. Maybe it was a stranger. Maybe it was a coincidence so ridiculous you couldn't help but laugh. You know the kind. The kind where you think, well, that's weird. And then 5 minutes later, you're still thinking about it. Because something about it felt different. Now, maybe it was random. Maybe it wasn't. Hell if I know. But I do know this. Some of the most important moments people ever experience arrive disguised as ordinary moments. Not fireworks, not lightning bolts, not angels descending from the clouds playing electric guitars. Although honestly, that would be pretty badass. No. Usually it was something much quieter. A sentence, a realization, a chance encounter, a phone call, a wrong turn that somehow became the right turn. A disappointment that eventually revealed itself as a doorway. And that's what fascinates me. Because when we're living through difficult moments, we often assume we're alone. The job disappears. The relationship ends. The dream falls apart. The rejection letter arrives. The future becomes foggy. And we start carrying the weight like it's ours alone to hold. Look at all these cars on the road. All these people practicing. Some are practicing gratitude. Some are practicing frustration. Some are practicing courage. Some are practicing fear. And some are quietly carrying burdens nobody else can see. The thing is, most people are much stronger than they realize. But they're also much more supported than they realize. And that's the part I think we forget. Because support doesn't always look the way we expect. Sometimes support looks like a friend. Sometimes it looks like a spouse. Sometimes it looks like a teacher. Sometimes it looks like a conversation. Sometimes it looks like an idea arriving at exactly the right moment. And sometimes it looks like something we can't quite explain. Now I know that makes some people uncomfortable. People want certainty. People want answers. People want proof, and I get it. I really do. But here's the thing. I've never found certainty to be nearly as interesting as mystery. Certainty says, case closed. Mystery says, keep looking, keep listening, keep paying attention. And my dude, the more we pay attention, the more we appreciate the mystery. Because there are things in life that seem bigger than my understanding. Love is one of them. Consciousness is one of them. Music is one of them. The fact that two people can sit down and have a conversation that changes the direction of a life. That's one of them too. Think about that. A few words, a few thoughts, a few moments, and somehow everything changes. How the hell does that work? Seriously, how does that happen? One sentence lands, and suddenly, the road ahead looks different. One realization arrives, and suddenly, years of confusion begin to untangle. One insight appears, and suddenly, a burden becomes lighter. It's hard to understand that. Yet, there it is. Which brings me to something else. There are seasons in life when it feels like the mystery has disappeared. Maybe you've been there. A lot of dudes have. The phone isn't ringing. The answers aren't coming. The opportunities aren't appearing. The road feels silent. The sky feels quiet. And in those moments, it's easy to conclude that we're disconnected, abandoned, forgotten, alone. But what if we're not? What if silence isn't absence? What if silence is part of the conversation? What if roots are growing underground while we're standing there complaining that we don't see any damn flowers? Life appears frozen. Then months later, we realize things were moving the whole time. Conversations were happening. Doors were opening. People were crossing paths. Pieces were arranging themselves. Perhaps we just couldn't see it yet because we were standing too close to the puzzle. And maybe that's where trust comes in. Not blind trust, not passive trust, not sitting on the couch waiting for destiny to deliver pizza. I'm talking about active trust, the kind that continues moving, the kind that continues showing up, the kind that continues practicing. Practicing patience, practicing faith, practicing curiosity, practicing possibility, practicing the willingness to believe that there may be more happening than we currently understand. Because my dude, whether we call it God, or source, or mystery, or simply life itself, I think there's tremendous value in remembering that we are not required to carry every burden alone. We participate, we act, we choose, we build, we stumble, we learn, we drive. But maybe, just maybe, There's also a current moving beneath the surface, a river beneath the river, a deeper flow, a larger story, a flame that doesn't go out simply because we can't see it for a while. And if you've ever felt one of those little winks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A coincidence, a conversation, a song, a number, a realization, a perfectly timed reminder. Something arrives and you find yourself smiling, not because you suddenly understand everything, because for a moment you remember that life might be bigger than your current problem, bigger than your current fear, bigger than your current uncertainty, bigger than your current chapter. That's not an answer. It's a reminder. And sometimes a reminder is enough. Especially when the road gets long. Especially when the future gets foggy. Especially when we're tired. Because sometimes all we really need is the memory that we're part of something larger than ourselves. Something bigger, something deeper, something mysterious, something beautiful, something alive, something worth trusting. Even if we can't fully explain it, something to think about. Look at all these cars on the road, all these people practicing belief, practicing doubt, practicing fear, practicing trust, practicing the stories they tell themselves about life. The question is, what are you practicing? Let's get a little practice in. Let's ride.